everyone, it's Charlene, one half of the Flights of Fancy Stitchers. I am coming to you on this Tuesday afternoon. I think we're at a balmy 29 degrees. We've been having snow the last few days and it's just been really cold, not what the Midwest has got going on. I talked to Morgan just before I filmed this and she's at 1 degree. So I'll quit complaining about my 29. Anyway, it is about 2:30. And today is the 18th of February, and this is video number 159, and I already have itchy nose. So I have a companion here, as you guys can see. Are you going to turn around so the peoples can see you? No, Mom, my chin itches. So I have lots to show you. I have all of my vast amount of notes. I have my giant glass of water, because I got done drinking my coffee and I put my cup in the sink, which I normally do, but I try to on Tuesdays to save it so I can refill it full of water for my videos. So, are you going to sit there while I talk? Yeah, you're just going to sit there and let me pet you? Okay. So, we'll do the easy stuff until I have to put her down. I don't have any haul today. I'm waiting. I have 2 packages that should be here today from 123. I had ordered some thread to go along with a project that, actually with 2 projects that I'm getting ready to show you that were new starts since I've done my last video. For my monthly totals, I am at 12,167, and for my yearly totals, I am at 36,275. So very happy with that. So Flosstubers that I've watched. I've actually watched quite a few that we're not subscribed to, but I'm finding myself more and more disappointed, and that goes back to I watch Flosstube to be enabled with, you know, all the lovely patterns and to see all the incredible work, not just cross stitch. I like knitting and crochet and quilting. I don't do the first 2, but I am a quilter. So I enjoy when, pardon me, a cross stitcher is a multi-crafter and shares all of their goodies. I enjoy that very much. But what I don't enjoy is, you know, really starting out liking a video and really excited to watch them because of their projects, and then it turns into a political platform. And I have found in the last, well, probably 2 or 3 days, that seems to be the new norm with Flosstube. And I'm just thankful for those that, you know, they share their life updates, their kids' excitement or husband's excitement with new jobs or whatever, but they leave the political rhetoric to where it belongs. So to those of you that adhere to that, I appreciate you and know that you do have a Flosstuber that does appreciate that. But the ones that I have watched that I sincerely appreciate, Darrin Dizzy Stitcher, he's down in Australia. He does a lot of full coverage pieces. Excuse me, absolutely gorgeous work. Helen D, who is also East Coast crafter, she's always having all these amazing finishes and doesn't have a whole lot of whips. I think, what'd she say last video? She's only got like 16 or 20. Which I, you know, aspire to be like that, but it'll never happen. And then, of course, Janet Jabber and all of her lovely ladies and her mini starts are just very refreshing. Other than that, those are my norms that I usually watch that I've watched this week. And I did see, and I forgot to write it down, I forgot the person's name, but there was a new quilting page. Are you chewing on my hair? Please don't. A new quilting page that I found, and I got started on the video and then I got interrupted the other day, but I want to go back and see if I can find that in my history, because they had some really unique quilt blocks and patterns that they were showing. So that was something new, something fun. I think that is all. Oh no, I've got my ornaments that I can show until we're going to have to put you down, because I don't want to accidentally bonk your noodle. Ornament. This is my ornament for my camera my regular stitching, my regular projects. And then this is my ornament for my Jelly World, which is the stitch along with Hade. I guess I can show you two other things. So I have decided on 2 new starts for this coming week. One of them is a pattern that I just picked up the other day. This is from Tidy Patterns, and I believe the shop is in Switzerland. It's on Etsy, but it's Tidy, T-I-D-Y Patterns. And this is, oh, there you go. And I'm going to start that one this week. And my phone. And then the other one that I'm going to start this week is going to be the Little House Needleworks January. I have this whole collection. And I decided, since so much of this, it's not white, it's actually 712 that you use, that I don't want to do it on white because it's not going to show up. And there is a lot of that lighter color for like their muff and, you know, in their hand and maybe on the bottom of their dress and whatnot. I just realized this one has a kitty in it. That I decided to use oatmeal. Well, I call it oatmeal, fiddler's cloth. What do they call this? Rustico? Oatmeal. It is oatmeal. But it's just a piece of 14 count Aida. And I'll chop it up and use it what I can for the ones that I have. And then when I run out of that, then I will go and pick up some more. I just got that at, I think it was a Hobby Lobby. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I got it at Hobby Lobby. So, all right, no more kitty. So now we can get to work. So I told you my new starts. All right, so let's do show and tell. I pulled 5 pieces down off the wall that I had made. One of them is, I think you saw it last year. Pretty sure I finished it last year. So this one is Wally. This is a piece of fabric. I don't remember if I dyed it or if Morgan dyed it. I'd had the fabric for a while before I started it. And I think Morgan found this pattern on Etsy, but this is another one that she found during COVID. And so a lot of those shops unfortunately are gone. And I actually tried to look this up to find a picture of this for the file that I keep on my personal Facebook page, and I could not find this. So I don't think that this Etsy shop is around anymore, but I love this one. Preston and I have a story that he is Wally and I am Ava. It's a running comment we've had for, well, since the movie came out. This one is 4 eggs. This was in, the 4 of these were in a World of Cross Stitch magazine. I apologize, I don't know which one. It was an older one. And I took this in, and the gentleman that usually does my framing was at lunch. And there was another gal in there working, and I explained to her what I wanted and how I wanted this cut. So I stitched this in 4 individual pieces. And I explained to her that, you know, I wanted more of the egg shape as opposed to just the oval, so it complemented the piece better. And she's like, oh, yeah, I understand. And she measured it, she took it. And when Tim got back from lunch, he cut it based on the measurements that she took. And when I got back to pick it up, you know, I showed him, and he was like, and he was upset. I was upset. And it doesn't look bad. It's just not exactly how I wanted it to turn out. But it looks okay. And it showcases the eggs. I mean, it didn't cut any of them off or anything. But it was a good lesson for me that wait for my guy to get back from lunch. I'm very spoiled with the work that Tim does for us. This one was a Lizzie Kate, and I don't think I have this pattern anymore. I think I gave this to Morgan. I think. If I have it, it's somewhere in my stash. But it is a Lizzie Kate, and the first time I saw this quote, it was a Winnie the Pooh quote. And this has been several years ago. This is when my dad was still here. And I fell in love with it. So when I found this in a cross stitch, I grabbed it. This piece of fabric has been used in several of my pieces that I've done. This was another one of those that I got from, and I've talked about her before. There was a gal that I used to buy my fabric from. She was up in Wyoming. And I just love this. It turned out so pretty. This one hangs in our living room. In fact, all of these hang in the living room. I have not exhausted all of the living room stashes of artwork, so we've got a few more. I'm trying to go room by room so I don't get confused of what I've shown you guys, and I've also made notes because I know I'll forget. This is probably one of my very favorite stitches that I've ever done. If you know me, you know that I am a huge Van Gogh fan. We have a lot of Van Gogh. In fact, you'll see Starry Night here sooner than later. It hangs right here. I've completed that one. And I also have Field of Poppies about halfway done. So I'm obsessed with Van Gogh. So this piece plays homage to the almond tree, and it also pays homage to Starry Night. And call it morbid, call it me, call it whatever. I have an obsession about the organ of the heart. I think it's beautiful, and I don't know if that's from a scientific standpoint or if it's just. So I'll tell you a story. So I had a teacher when I was in grade school. So this is, 40 years ago, 40 plus years ago now. And she had each one of us draw a picture of our favorite symbol or sign or something that we loved. So when I say symbols and signs, I mean like stars and moons and hearts and squares and shapes and anything, any specific shape that spoke to you, that was like your very favorite thing. Mind you, we're little kids, okay? And as long as I can remember, I have drawn hearts on everything. Like that is, I love to draw hearts. When I'm doodling, I draw hearts. When I was a little girl, and and I've told you guys the notebook stories before, I always drew hearts. Well, she had this book. Now, mind you, this is way before the internet and all this other kind of stuff. But she had this book that whatever kind of shapes you were drawn to as a child, they basically determine like your favorite things in life. And mine was always a heart. Well, apparently the heart symbolizes love of family and friends. Like nothing means more to you than your family and friends, which is probably the truest statement on the planet for me because, my husband, my children, my pets, my best friends, they mean everything to me. And so I always thought that was kind of ironic. One of the other symbols was a star. And the meaning of behind a star is that you're obsessed with money, you're obsessed with wealth. That above everything else, you want money and wealth in your life. And I find it really ironic because 3 of the people that I kept contact with up into adulthood, that was their sign, are incredibly wealthy, are incredibly well off, have a miserable home life. The kids hate them, but they've got more money than God, And I just find it ironic, the symbolism in it all. So anyway, that story being told, my obsession with hearts, my obsession with Van Gogh. This is a piece of purple, it was a piece of white fabric. Again, I don't remember which one of us dyed it. And I hate to keep saying that every time I show my stuff because I dyed stuff, Morgan dyed stuff. I didn't keep track. If I liked it, it spoke to me, I used it. So, but it fit perfectly. I just barely had enough to frame this. I do remember that. But I gave this one to Preston. And Morgan actually made this one, same pattern. I think her fabric though is a blue or a gray that she made for her boyfriend. And it turned out beautiful on that blue fabric. So, and then this one, this is the last one. This is Quick Stitch Iris. I was inspired by this one by Sarah, who's Stitchin' Mommy. She actually stitched this one for a family member. And irises, I grew up knowing irises as flags. That's what my dad always called them, was flags. And we had flags growing all over along our ditch bank by our house. And then we had real pale, almost like lilac white irises, flags that were growing, that were planted on my mom's grave and at the cemetery. So irises, flags, have always had a very, very special meaning to me in that regard. So this one, oh, sorry guys, upside down. This one I stitched, I started it, I think I started it was on one of memory that would have been my dad's birthday. And not the blue ones so much, not the dark blue ones, but the lighter blue ones, and then of course these deep purple ones. We had those along the ditch bank. And then of course the white ones at the cemetery, or pale purple. They weren't even really a lilac, like they were, like I said, they were like a purpley white. They were so pretty. I just remember that so plain. So I love irises. They always have spoken to me. Okay, so show and tell. We're 17 minutes in. I'm going to quickly show you, oh wait, I already did show you those. So I guess I'm going to show you whips now. Calendar, we're keeping up to date. I have not stitched as of yet today. This morning I got up a little bit later than normal, and then I answered some letters to pen pals because I was behind on my mail. So if I owe you a letter, it's probably going in the mailbox today. Our post office is not getting stamps in. I know, don't ask, that's a whole nother subject. And we probably won't be getting any in until we get our new postmaster in next month. So I finally broke down and ordered some from USPS directly. So all I have to do is just put the stamps on and Preston can mail them, because I'm not even able to do post crossing until I get some stamps. So first up I'm going to show you is, this was anniversary stitch on the 12th. I did 114 stitches, and this is a Lizzie Kate. I actually have this one on my Whipco board for a finish. And this was a sink die, and Morgan and I talked about it. I'm pretty sure this is one that she had done for me. And so I worked on, let's see, I think I worked over here, and then I did this branch for the bird. Yeah. So I love this piece. I'm really looking forward to when it comes out on Whipco. I'm hoping that it comes out so I can have it done for a finish for our wedding anniversary in August. So we'll see. All right, next up is, this one is on my Whipco board. Is it this month or last month? I can't remember. And I forgot to grab my Whipco sheet. So this is Spring Art Nouveau. Morgan actually showed this one in her video. And it's this one right here. I have all four of the, well, I've finished this one. It's hanging in the living room. I guess I need to make sure and grab that next week before I change it out. I almost forgot. But I have these three going. So this one came up on the Whipco board for a finish. Now I can't remember if it was for January, February. I can't remember. Anyway, all I have left to stitch on this is the black. basically the stained glass part. So I've been trying to do 4 strands a day, since it is all the same color, which we all know that's kind of difficult for me to do, but I know that's the only color left, so I know I need to get it done. But that ends up giving me about 250 stitches. So hopefully I can get that done before the end of the month. And this is a Laurel Birch bag that I made. Next up, and this one is Love All. This one was on the 13th for its anniversary. And this is my bag. And this one is out of Emma Congdon. You can tell I have quite an obsession with her. I love, in fact, one of the pieces I showed last week was an Emma Congdon, and I have another one in the bedroom. So this is cross stitch for the sole, and there is only, I think, 2 in this whole book that I don't want to make. And again, if you know me, you know that I'm obsessed with Shakespeare as well. So this is the one that I'm talking about. And I'm pretty sure that this is a piece of fabric that I did. And I think I was doing this one for a fairy. Or maybe it was a pretty lady. I think it was a fairy. And it's too pink. For the fairy. The fairy was pink, and so it was going to kind of blend, and it wasn't going to be pretty. So I put it to the side. I did another piece, but it's perfect for this color palette. And so where I worked was, so this is the U, and then the S in trust, and then part of the T. So I did most of this blue right here, and then I carried the pink over. And that gave me 101 stitches. So it's, I don't want to say it's stiff fabric, but it's rough. It's not pliable, I guess is the best way to say it. And what I need to do is I need to get it out and just work with it, you know, get the stitching in and loosen it up so it's more friendly, because it's grouchy to work with. Okay. Next up is by, well, here come the yawns, Star Wars Dogfight. This was my full coverage piece for the first half of February. You guys have seen this one. And I ended up with, oh shoot, my paper's over there, 1,842. Pretty sure. It was either 42 or 46. And this is from the Awesome Pattern Studio. And it is PDF compatible, so it goes very well into Pattern Keeper. And this is where I ended up with. So you can see the pod and part of the wing, and then of course the background. And this one was 22,000 and some stitches. That sounds right. So, yeah. This one was tough to work on because there's only, I think, 11 colors in it. And it's a lot of block stitching, which is great, but not. I know you guys know what I mean. So it worked out good to just be 30 minutes at a time. All right, the next one, the one that's spun for this month's, this half of February's full coverage 30 minutes a day was my Quick Stitch Iris by Sarah Butcher. Butcher. You go to the butcher for, yeah, butcher. Words are difficult. Anyway, and I have decided, I made myself a note, I am going to try really hard to have this one done by the end of 27. I only have like 13,000 stitches left in this. It's not a big piece. And it's very doable. And it would be really nice to hang on my wall. And again, I still got the frame on it, but you can see it all because I still need to stitch for today. So I have decided, typical Charlene style, I'm going to work across the top and get over here to the edge. So you can see a little bit of hair and then of course the background. So really like this one. Love that color palette. Okay, next up. This was a new start yesterday. Another story. If you're bored, fast forward, because I have lots of stories. So my dad and I used to go up to cow camp and used to go cut wood a lot. And we'd load up our truck with the chainsaws, and our snack would be, I would stop at the grocery store and I would get a brick of Longhorn cheese and a box of crackers and at least 2 cans of Ortega green chilies, the mild ones. And of course we ate before we left the house, and we had our thermos of coffee and our water jug, and we would go up to the mountain and we would, especially when we were cutting wood, we would down our trees and then we would take a break, let our saws cool down, and we would have a picnic of sliced cheese and crackers and green chilies. And we did that every time we went and cut wood, and we cut wood for years. And then we'd eat our snack and then we get busy. Of course, we had, well, we still do have 3 chainsaws. We had Preston's big one, and then we had a medium-sized one, and then we had a small one. And I mean, you have to remember, my dad is in his late 80s at this point, and he is working side by side with me. I mean, he was a go-getter. And so I would use the big saw to fall the trees, and then he would take the big saw because the weight of it could basically cut through the wood, and then I would take the smaller saws and I would work up like the smaller branches and the kindling and stuff like that, because I could work it up faster with a smaller saw. And then we'd take a break, he would rest, use his pumper, he had asthma real bad, and we would have another snack. And so by the end of our 3 or 4 hour outing, we would finish off the block of cheese and our crackers and our green chili and a whole thermos of coffee, and that was what we done. That was our thing. So to get to the point of my story, so yesterday I decided to put green chilies into my omelet that I was making this for lunch, and I went to open up the can, and my dad's birthday was the 26th of August, and the expiration date on the can of chili was August 26, 2026. And kind of hit a little bit. And yesterday was also the anniversary of when my mom passed away. And it was a good reminder that we're not alone. So, lastly, I have been wanting to start these for a long time. And what I'm talking about is the Into the Woods series. So, before the whole green chili thing happened yesterday after late morning, I was like, I want a new start. And like I said, I dyed all the fabric. I got on and I looked at the 4 different fabrics that they used to complement these 12 pieces. And so I practiced and I practiced. And so this was the piece that I had come up with, and it's looking more blue, but I promise it's green. To get the pieces dyed to match this. And so this was my start yesterday. And to finish off the story, my dad's nickname was the Bear. So anyway, there is my very, very minute start. I think I put in 123 stitches. And the pins are to mark, so here will be the bear, and then I got to get these two in and get them blown up because I like to make working copies. And then the eagle will go here, and then the barn will go, barn owl will go there. And that will essentially be spring. Sorry guys, my nose is running. So yeah, I'm really enjoying this. I was really upset with myself though, because I started this, I ended up starting it last night. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I can do the brown and the cattails. And I realized I pulled the wrong color. I had pulled, what did I pull? I pulled hazelnut, and I was supposed to have pulled molasses. And the molasses is this. And I don't think I have a molasses. So when I told Preston that, he's like, yeah, you got a big jug in the back, you make cookies with it. I'm like, such a brat. So I need to look through my stash, but I don't think I have molasses. I think I've got it, I'm using it in something else. So that needs to be an investment, and it'll be a while before I get down into the bear, but I got to get that done, and then I want to move over far enough so then I can get started on the next one. So yeah, I was super excited. All right, enough to motion. Don't need no more motion. This is a happy place. We come here to be happy. Let's see, I showed you guys my spring art. I'm marking these off as I go so I don't get confused. All right, so this is the no anniversary date piece that I am working on when I don't have an anniversary date piece. This is my eagle. And Morgan and I talked at length about this one the other day, and she's like, Mom, you can finish that bird. I'm like, I know, I'm trying. I haven't worked on it yet today. So this is where I'm at. And I am, let's see, where did I work since you guys have seen it last? All this down in here I've done. There was a little tiny bit, I think I said this, there was a little bitty tiny of this green right in here that I needed to finish before I could do this back stitching. So I got that done, and then I brought some more over because these these browns are tweeting or blending. They're like 840, 841, 839, 838. And I don't want to waste any of them. There's a lot of those same browns in this tree and this stump that's in him. So if I've just got a few stitches, like last night when I worked on it, or yesterday, I think I had like 6 stitches of this color right here that I didn't have to jump and take a chance of making a mistake to fill in on. Actually, I think it was right here, right there. So I went ahead and I put those in, and maybe it was that one too. No, that's a different color. Anyway, I went ahead and I put those in too, and then I came up and I put them into the eagle. So, as I drop it. So I don't take a chance of wasting any thread. And I'm almost finished enough with this branch that I can, and this is blending too. This is white and I want to say 928, 927. That was close. And so I'm hoping get some more of this brown done, then I can finish this blue. It comes across like right in here. So I'd like to get that swath done too before I put it up, but again, my main focus is to finish him. So he won't get done, the whole piece won't get done in February, but I really do think that I can get him done, get the bird done. Because counting today, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have 10 more days of stitching on him, which is approximately, give or take, 1,000 stitches. It's very, very doable. I just gotta do it. So Morgan told me, she says, you know, finish it off and then bring it back out in March and finish it for Dalton's birthday. And I might do that because he's so close, so close. Okay, next one that I worked on was, let's see, this one, which you already know, and I've shown this one to you this month. So I finished up my monthly challenge on this piece. I had very little left. I was kind of disappointed in myself that I didn't get it done. So, oh, it's so pretty. I can't wait to have this done. It's so pretty. So well, I guess it's more prominent than I thought, but you can see, especially here in the roof where I ended for the February stitching. And then I did carry over my threads if I could. Like when I was working on the roof over here, I finished up February and then I went ahead and I carried it on over. I have a pretty good size swath for March. I'm going to have to be very diligent about pulling it out and working on it every day in order to get it done in March. So I love this one. I still think this is going to be my travel piece. And we have decided, so I had a few people ask me, message me, like, okay, where are you going? I am not going to say until we get back, which I know you guys understand because it is security, safety, whatever you want to call it. But I can promise you that it is someplace we've never been before, and it is someplace that I think is going to be absolutely amazing. So, yes, I know I'm teasing, but I promise you I will tell you all about it when we get back. All right, the next one that I worked on, this was on the 14th. It's an anniversary piece. I did 121 stitches, and same book as the Thatch Cottage. This is the Heart Sampler. One of my very, very favorite pieces that I have. And again, you go hand in hand with that story I told about if it has a heart on it, I'm probably going to make it because that's just me. This is a piece of 14 count white Aida. I was actually going to do like a sink dye of a real pale pink because it has a lot of white in it. And when I say white, it's the, what do you call it? The pearl cotton? Is that what it's called? And I thought, oh, and then of course it's got some Karen water lilies. I thought, oh, that'd be so pretty. And then I thought, no, I'm just going to stick with white. Because the pearl cotton being as thick as it is, and you can see on here, you know, you don't want to take away from any of this. And I didn't want the pale pink to be too much for any of this. And I'm glad that I just decided to stick with white. And it's just a piece of, pretty sure it's 14 count. So where did I work? I put in the red, I put in these green, and then I brought this on over. And that was the 121. So I don't know when this will come back out again. because, I mean, obviously it's had its anniversary date. I don't have it on any challenge or anything for, it needs hemmed, for like Whipco or anything, or not Whipco, sorry, like Bringo or, well, yeah, it's not a Whipco either. So I don't know when that one will come back out again. We'll just have to wait and see. I can't show you the front, but this is one of the bags I made. I've been hearing a lot of stories about the vinyl front. Project bags having issues with sticking to patterns and stuff. I personally have not had those issues, but it kind of makes me sad that people do, because those are great to be able to see all your stuff. All right, this one, I'm pretty sure I talked about this last video, was I'm trying to find the cover photo for this. So I had told you guys that I had gotten all of these patterns during, I'm pretty sure it was during COVID when Jeanette Douglas put these out. I looked on her website after I talked about this the other day, and I did not see the freebie, but I did see this picture on 123 that you can buy the whole, I guess it's like a booklet of all of it. And so what I'm talking about is the mini bouquets. And so that brown fabric that I told you guys that I messed up on, well, yeah, it found a home. So as per the picture, the white border is very difficult to see. And so you can see that mine is also, it's there, but it is difficult to see. And I kitted up, I'm missing a few colors, but I kitted up basically January, February, and March. And then I think I also kitted up that bottom border, this border right here. And I have in the mail, there was I want to say there were 7 colors that I was missing to go with all 3 of those flowers in the border. So that tells you what that first row is going to look like. It's so gorgeous. So I'm hoping, and so far the month is going along well, it shouldn't be an issue, that I can get January and February done and then continue on with part of the border, because borders are, I like borders, but I get bored really quick. So I'm hoping that I can turn this into one of those projects that I do a motif every month. I'm hoping. We'll see. Fingers crossed. All right. And last but not least, oh shoot, I forgot the picture. I always do that. Let me go back onto Facebook, because that's where I've got all my stuff at. So I am talking about my Jelly World. This is the Stitch Along with Hade. And we have basically, like, I don't know, yay much released right now. And I went over 50% on, I think it was actually on Friday. I went over 50%. And I had another color finish. So here is where it's at. So I almost, and it won't happen tonight because I've got some other stuff I got to get done this evening. But I'm almost finished with the 4th row of 10. And then I'm almost finished with this 2nd row coming down, I have literally from right there, just that little tiny bit, and I'll have these 2 rows done moving across. So what I've been trying to do is do a row of 10, do a swath down, do a row of 10, do a swath down. But as I'm moving further across, a lot of these colors, you know, they go hand in hand. So like, I think it's right in here, 2 of those colors are also the 2 colors that I need to finish off the swath right here. I don't remember where it's at. I think it's right here. So I've been finishing off all of the dark colors, so then I can come over here and finish up that row, and then I'll come back down and start on the 5th row of 10, which you can see that I've made a pretty decent swath of already. So anyway, that's where it's at. I am slowly accepting the fact that I am probably not going to have this first part done before April 1st, which is frustrating to me. I mean, and I'm not going to be that far off, but, and it will still be very doable to finish by the end of the year. It's just not my plan. I wanted to have more done, but if I would quit with all the new starts and finding all the pretties and spending too much time on 1, 2, 3, and, you know, watching Flosstube, that's probably the biggest enabler on the planet. You guys are dangerous, or at least to my pocketbook anyway. Anyway, I think that is everything I have. I've went on for, again, almost an hour, so if you've stuck it out with me this long, I appreciate you so much. I did decide something, and I actually forgot to bounce this off of Morgan, but I'm just going to say it because it's the way I feel, and we know that this has no volume control or mute or filter, whatever you want to call it, so I'm just going to say it as it is. But, you know, for years when Morgan and I have been doing our videos, we always say at the end to be kind. And again, in watching a lot of Flosstube and whatnot, I find that that's one of those things, it's kind of rhetoric. It's like, wash your hands, or make sure you wipe off your feet before you come in if you've been in the mud. You know, those are things that we as adults, we know better. You know, if you're 5, it's one thing, but we as adults should know these things. And that being said, as adults, we should know that we need to be kind. I'm not saying be kiss asses. I'm not saying brown nosers. I'm saying to be a kind, gentle human being. And I kind of feel that, you know, the whole be kind is kind of, it's kind of run its course. Because if we can't be kind to one another, regardless of our political views, of our favorite colors, of our hairstyles, of the vehicle we drive, then we've got a lot bigger fish that we need to be frying than being reminded to be kind. And that being said, I'm no longer going to preach at you and say be kind, because you're adults and you know you need to be kind, especially in the world that we live in, good, bad, or otherwise. We need to remember to be adults. And so therefore, I will no longer tell you to be kind. I will tell you thank you for coming and listening to me and my stories and letting me share all my pretties with you, for watching our videos and supporting our channel. And I will wish you a beautiful day. I hope that you're warm or cold or comfortable. I guess that's a better word to say than cold. I hope that the temperatures aren't too, you know, overwhelming wherever you are, because I know that there's some weather going on out there right now. But I just hope you know that we appreciate you coming to visit our channel. And if you don't like our style, if you don't like what we have to say, I understand. That's the joys of living where we do, is that there's 1,000 gazillion other Flosstubers out there with better stories and better pictures to show. And I I totally appreciate that and understand. But again, I don't need to remind you to be kind because we're adults and we need to act as such. So again, thank you for coming and visiting with us. I hope you guys have a wonderful week. And unless, this big old planet stops spinning and I'm not around next Tuesday, I will be here to irritate you. So thank you for enabling us, and have a wonderful week and be safe. Take care, guys.